Next time you use a free app to, book a table at your favorite neighborhood Italian spot, you might actually be unwittingly charging that independent business a $1 toll just to seat you.
Yeah, exactly.
Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we are taking you behind the host stand.
Right, because that $1 toll, it's really just the beginning of this massive invisible ecosystem. I mean, you walk into a restaurant, you expect the ambiance, the low lighting, the hum of conversation.
Oh, for sure.
It feels entirely organic.
Well,
But beneath those reclaimed wood floorboards, the modern hospitality industry operates more like a high-speed server room. It dictates exactly who sits where, when they eat, and how much it all costs.
And to uncover how that invisible infrastructure actually works, we've got a really unique source for you today. It is essentially a comprehensive developer's guide.
Yeah.
Like a blueprint, really, on how to build an OpenTable clone from scratch.
Though, to be clear, our mission today isn't to teach you how to actually write the code for a reservation app.
No, we'll leave the actual programming to the engineers. We are using this blueprint to basically reverse engineer a tech giant.
Right.
By looking at exactly what it takes to clone a platform like OpenTable, we're going to expose the massive economics of the restaurant tech industry, the secret architecture of these platforms, and, the subtle psychology behind how you end up booking your Friday night dinner.
Because we're talking about staggering scale here.
Yeah.
As of 2025, OpenTable's network spans more than 65,000 restaurants, bars, and venues worldwide.
Wow.
Yeah, they fill approximately 1.9 billion seats every single year.
Okay, let's unpack this. 1.9 billion seats a year.
Yeah, it's massive.
That is the equivalent of seating the entire population of the U.S. and China combined at a table every single year.
Right.
So my immediate thought when reading the source was, why on earth would a developer look at a Goliath like that and decide to try and clone it? Are they just gluttons for punishment?
Well, what's fascinating here is that the motivation to build a clone comes down to the sheer size of the pie they're trying to take a slice of.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This isn't just a niche convenience anymore. According to Grandview Research, the global restaurant management software market is projected to hit $14.7 billion by 2030.
14.7 billion.
14.7, yeah.
Yeah. That number proves this software is no longer a luxury. It's the fundamental plumbing of the modern hospitality industry.
Exactly.
Developers look at OpenTable's success, and they just see a proven market with a massive ceiling. The rationale laid out in the blueprint is actually pretty simple. If you can replicate the core functionality, you can tap into established demand.
Right.
But more importantly, you can offer restaurants something they desperately want, which is control over their own data and a way to escape the current economic trap.
Because the trap is that OpenTable is currently holding all the cards.
Yeah.
To understand why developers want to disrupt this space, you really have to follow the cash flow. I mean, a diner pays absolutely nothing to download the app or make a reservation.
Right. It's totally free for us.
But the restaurant, on the other hand, is paying through this ingeniously layered three-pronged revenue model.
Oh, yeah.
And the first prong, it's pretty straightforward. It's just monthly subscriptions.
The entry fee. The source breaks this down into 3 tiers. So there's a basic plan at $149 a month, a core plan at $299 a month, and a pro plan at $499 a month.
Yeah.
And on the surface, for a busy restaurant pulling in tens of thousands in revenue, spending $500 a month for your primary management software doesn't sound outrageous.
No, it sounds completely reasonable until you uncover the second prong of the revenue model.
Which is where they get you.
Right, which is where the real margin is made. We're talking about reservation fees. The platform charges a hidden fee for every single seated diner, which the industry refers to as a cover.
This is where the math gets a little wild. If a diner goes directly to the restaurant's own website and makes a reservation using the basic OpenTable widget, the restaurant pays $0.25 per cover.
Which, 25 cents a head adds up over a month. But the platform has an even steeper toll booth.
Much steeper. Because if that same diner opens the OpenTable app on their phone or goes directly to opentable.com to make the booking, the restaurant is charged $1 per cover.
A whole dollar.
Every single plan, from basic to pro, pays that dollar per head for app bookings, Walk-ins and phone calls are free, but those app bookings cost $1 a person.
Right.
Let me just run the numbers on this. If a popular neighborhood spot gets 1,000 bookings a month through the app, that is $1,000 extra on top of their $499 subscription fee.
And many restaurant owners don't fully calculate that per cover cost
Yeah.
when they sign the contract.
Yeah, I bet.
The app essentially places itself as an intermediary between the business and its patrons.
It really makes you wonder if restaurants are essentially paying a monthly ransom to access their own regular customers.
Honestly, yeah.
If I love a local Italian place and I use the app purely out of habit because it happens to be on my home screen, I just cost that independent business $4 for my family of 4. I could have just called them or walked in and saved them the margin on an appetizer.
And that friction is the primary reason developers see an opening to clone the software. But, OpenTable capitalizes on that friction even further with their third revenue stream,
Right.
advertising.
The pay-to-play model.
Yep. Let's say you're visiting Brooklyn and you search the app for Asian food. The platform allows restaurants to pay to be promoted to the top of that search list, even if they aren't the closest to you geographically or, even the most highly rated.
So it's basically a sponsored content for dinner.
Yes, but the psychology of how they charge the restaurant for that ad placement is brilliant.
How so?
Unlike traditional digital advertising, they don't charge the restaurant for impressions. Like how many people saw the ad.
Oh, interesting.
They don't even charge for clicks. They only charge when someone actually makes a reservation, walks through the door, and sits down to eat.
Wow. From a restaurant owner's perspective, that is an incredibly irresistible marketing tool.
Oh, absolutely.
With traditional Google or Facebook ads, you might spend $1,000 on clicks that never convert into actual diners. But this model is totally risk-free advertising until the customer is literally in the building buying food.
Right.
It's expensive, but you know exactly what you're paying for.
And when you add up the subscription baselines, the per cover fees, and the risk-free advertising, you see exactly why a developer looks at that $14.7 billion market and decides they want to build a clone. The economics are just staggering.
But if a restaurant is going to hand over thousands of dollars a month for a piece of software, that software must be bulletproof.
100%.
It cannot crash at 7 p.m. on Valentine's Day.
Right.
If the system goes down, the restaurant loses money and they will cancel their subscription the next morning.
Yeah, that's game over.
So according to the developer blueprint we're looking at, how exactly is this high-stakes digital infrastructure built?
Well, to guarantee that kind of stability, you are actually building a highly complex, dual-natured architecture. You aren't just building one app. You're building two massive synchronized systems that communicate perfectly in real time.
So there's the side you and I see as diners and the side the host stand sees.
Exactly. On the customer side, you need a flawless interface for searching and filtering by cuisine, location, and price.
Right.
You need secure payment integrations like Stripe or PayPal for holding reservations with a credit card or paying the bill. You also need a database managing loyalty rewards and a recommendation algorithm providing personalized dining suggestions based on past behavior.
And then there's the restaurant side, which honestly reads like a military command center.
It really does.
They need a live dashboard for reservation management. They need a digital wait list that updates instantly without refreshing the page.
Yeah.
They need tools for managing staff schedules, and most importantly, an integrated CRM, a customer relationship management system.
Right, tracking everything.
Tracking everything from a diner's food allergies to whether they are a VIP who tips well.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, the sheer volume of data moving back and forth is why the recommended tech stack in our source is so robust.
Yeah, you can't just throw this together on Wix.
No, you cannot build this on a simple website builder. For the front end, the visual part, the user interacts with the blueprint, recommends React.
Okay.
React is a JavaScript library known for creating fast, highly interactive user interfaces. For the back end, they suggest Node.js paired with Express to handle the heavy lifting.
Let's ground this tech jargon in reality. Think of React as your polished professional waiter taking the order in the dining room.
I like that.
It looks great and interacts smoothly with the customer, but the waiter doesn't cook the food. Node.js is the expediter in the back kitchen, taking those orders and yelling instructions to the different stations.
Exactly.
And Express is the organizational framework the expediter uses. It structures the incoming requests rapidly so the kitchen doesn't catch fire when 50 orders come in at exactly the same time.
That perfectly captures the mechanism. And the expediter needs to know exactly what ingredients are available at all times.
Right.
In this case, the ingredients are the tables. For that, the blueprint recommends PostgreSQL, a highly reliable relational database, because restaurant inventory is uniquely complicated.
Yeah, it isn't like buying a pair of shoes online where the item is either in stock or out of stock.
No. Table inventory is essentially a high-stakes game of Tetris.
Exactly. If a party of 2 books a 4-top table at 6:00 p.m., that table might not be available again until 7:45 p.m.
Right.
That single booking affects the waitlist projections for 7:00 p.m., and the availability shifts dynamically depending on if the kitchen is backed up or if the guests decide to order a third round of drinks.
Which happens a lot.
Yeah, the system has to calculate all of those variables live.
Which brings us to the critical engineering truth outlined in the source, the challenge of scaling. Because a system that handles 50 restaurants and 500 daily reservations beautifully will absolutely collapse if you try to scale it to 5,000 restaurants without major architectural changes.
Wow.
To manage that scale, you need to introduce tools like Elasticsearch.
Right. The blueprint highlights Elasticsearch specifically for the search function.
Yeah.
Because instead of scanning every single row in a massive database to find a restaurant tagged with the word sushi, which takes seconds and frustrates users, Elasticsearch acts like the index at the back of a massive textbook.
That's a great way to put it.
It instantly tells the system exactly what page sushi is on, cutting load times from seconds down to milliseconds.
And you also need Socket.io for WebSockets.
Yeah.
That is the technology that allows for continuous two-way communication between the server and the app.
Okay.
It ensures that if two people are looking at the same 8:00 p.m. reservation on their phones, the moment one person taps book, the slot instantly disappears from the other person's screen without them needing to refresh.
Oh, so no double bookings.
Exactly. And all of this has to be hosted on massive, scalable cloud infrastructures like AWS or Google Cloud Platform.
So building a synchronized army of digital waiters and expediters, scaling it across thousands of restaurants, and ensuring it never drops a single reservation.
Wait, you mean it's...
You are no longer talking about a couple of computer science students coding in a garage. You are talking about enterprise-level funding.
Oh, absolutely.
The source lays out the hard numbers on the development costs, and it is a serious reality check.
The capital required is substantial.
Yeah.
I mean, if a developer just wants a basic clone, simple booking functionality, a few restaurant listings, and basic user accounts, they're looking at anywhere from $50,000 to $150,000.
That's a house down payment just for the bare minimum.
Exactly.
But if a developer wants to play in the big leagues, if they want an enhanced OpenTable level platform with real-time seat management, the full CRM database, Elasticsearch, and marketing tools,
Yeah.
the source estimates that ranges from $250,000 to well over $750,000.
And those costs fluctuate wildly based on your execution strategy. Are you hiring a full-time in-house team of senior developers in Silicon Valley?
Right.
Or are you outsourcing to an agency overseas? Are you building a native mobile app for iOS and Android, which requires 2 separate code bases and significantly more time? Or are you just building a responsive web app?
There are so many variables.
Every single feature you add requires tens of thousands of dollars in development and testing.
Here's where it gets really interesting for me. If I am a developer or a tech entrepreneur and I am staring at a bill for $750,000 just to get a functional high-end platform off the ground,
Yeah.
why on earth would I risk $750,000 to build a platform in a world where OpenTable already exists and dominates?
Well, this raises an important question about business models and market entry. When you decide to build this software, you face a strategic fork in the road. You can choose to build using the aggregator model or the self-owned model.
Okay, the aggregator model means you're trying to be the next OpenTable. You are building a multi-restaurant platform, acting as a middleman, and taking a cut of the reservations.
Right. And building an aggregator is notoriously difficult because you are building a two-sided marketplace.
Ah.
It isn't enough to just build the app. You have to solve the classic chicken and egg problem. You have to convince restaurants to pay to join a platform that has no diners on it yet.
Right. Why would they?
Exactly. And at the same time, you have to spend millions in marketing to convince diners to download an app that has barely any restaurants listed. The $750,000 development cost is just a fraction of the marketing burn rate required to launch an aggregator.
But the cell phone model bypasses that two-sided marketplace problem completely.
Yes, it does.
That's when a massive restaurant chain or a very wealthy independent hospitality group decides to build their own custom app. They spend the $500,000 upfront on development so they don't have to pay OpenTable $1 a head for the rest of eternity. They use it exclusively for their own properties. It is a direct play for independence and margin control.
Because the high cost of entry and the nightmare of the two-sided marketplace act as a strategic filter. The companies that do decide to compete with OpenTable using the aggregator model know they cannot outspend the Goliath in general marketing.
Makes sense.
Instead, they survive and thrive by targeting very specific weaknesses in OpenTable's armor.
Since building a rival marketplace requires so much capital, competitors have to find a highly targeted niche. The source actually maps out OpenTable's biggest rivals, and you can see exactly how they carved out their territory. Let's look at Resi.
Resi is perhaps the most famous alternative, especially in the U.S. market. They looked at the landscape and decided not to go after every single sports bar, diner, and pub.
Right.
Instead, they focused laser-like on fine dining and high-quality culinary experiences.
Resi cultivated a very distinct, exclusive vibe.
Yeah.
If you want a table at the hottest, most impossible to get into new spot in town, it is almost certainly on Resi.
Exactly.
According to the blueprint, their killer feature isn't necessarily helping diners discover new places. It is their advanced waitlist management and their guest profile tools.
Yeah.
They built a system that makes it incredibly easy for upscale restaurants to manage VIPs, track dietary restrictions, and communicate directly with guests via text. They don't have the sheer volume of options that OpenTable has, but they captured the prestige market.
Then you have Yelp reservations, which took a completely different angle. Yelp didn't have to solve the chicken and egg problem because they already had massive existing web traffic from millions of people reading restaurant reviews.
Right, that's huge.
So they simply added a reservation widget directly onto the review pages.
It's pure impulse convenience. You are already looking at user photos of the nachos and reading about the service. You might as well tap the button to book the table right then and there.
It leverages discovery and last-minute plans beautifully. However, the source notes a major technical hurdle. Yelp often lacks deep integration with the restaurant's point of sale, or POS system.
And that POS integration is a massive pain point.
Oh, yeah.
Every restaurant uses a different system. Toast, Square, Aloha.
Yeah.
And writing custom API bridges so the reservation app can talk directly to the kitchen's internal computers is an absolute nightmare.
Oh, for sure.
So Yelp brings in massive foot traffic, but it can cause friction for the host stand during a Friday night rush because the systems aren't communicating seamlessly.
Which is exactly the kind of friction competitors look for. Then there is EatApp. This platform directly addresses the exact pain point we were discussing earlier regarding the $1 cover fees.
Right.
EatApp offers an all-in-one customizable solution, but their biggest competitive advantage is fixed pricing. There are no hidden per-cover costs.
That's huge. A restaurant pays their flat subscription and that's it. Whether they book 10 people or 10,000 people through the app, the price doesn't change. That is incredibly appealing to budget-conscious operators who feel penalized by OpenTable's success fees. And finally, for the truly bare-bones approach, the source mentions Tabline.
Yeah, Tabline.
They skip the consumer-facing aggregator app entirely and just provide a low-cost, simple table management widget that a mom-and-pop restaurant can plug directly into their own website.
Right.
So what does this all mean? The takeaway here isn't just about who has the cheapest software or the prettiest React front end. It's that in tech, the best code doesn't automatically win.
No, it rarely does.
OpenTable's dominance isn't just about their tech stack, it's about network effects. Diners open the app out of habit because that's where all the restaurants are, and restaurants pay the fees because that's where all the diners are.
Exactly.
It is a massive self-sustaining moat built on human habit. To break that cycle, David doesn't try to out-muscle Goliath in a wrestling match.
Right.
David needs a very specific slingshot. Resi steals the VIPs, Yelp leverages impulse traffic, EatApp captures the fee-fatigued owners, and Tabline serves the absolute beginners.
It is a vibrant, fiercely competitive ecosystem, all fighting for the same 1.9 billion seated dinners a year.
Let's bring this all together. We started this deep dive looking at a developer's blueprint for an OpenTable clone. And through that specific lens, we explored a staggering $14.7 billion market.
Yeah.
We uncovered the invisible math of the $1 per cover fee and the brilliant psychology of paper-seated diner advertising. We peeked under the hood at the complex React, Node.js, and Elasticsearch tech stack, paddling furiously to keep waitlists perfectly synced. We got a reality check on the $750,000 development costs and the brutal chicken and egg problem of two-sided marketplaces. And we saw how smart competitors use targeted slingshots to carve out their own niches against a tech giant's network effect.
And the reason this matters to you, listening right now, is that you are an active participant in this ecosystem.
We all are.
Whether you are an aspiring tech entrepreneur looking for friction points in a multi-billion-dollar market, or you are simply someone trying to book a corner booth for Friday night, you now know the invisible digital infrastructure dictating your choices.
Absolutely.
You understand why certain restaurants appear first when you search, what it costs them to get you in the door, and why the tech world is so desperate to build a better version of the host stand.
The humming server room beneath the floorboards of your favorite restaurant isn't invisible to you anymore. But, as we wrap up, I keep coming back to something the source mentioned regarding the customer CRM data.
Oh, yeah.
The blueprint explicitly outlines how these systems record every visit to build out your dining history and loyalty profile.
Right. It tracks your specific table preferences, your allergy notes, your history of no-shows, and your verified reviews across dozens of independent businesses.
Which leaves me with a thought I can't quite shake. If a single platform is tracking every reservation you make, categorizing your preferences, and aggregating your behavior across the entire hospitality industry, who truly owns the modern diner's profile?
That's a great question.
Is it the local chef who actually cooks your food and pours your wine? Or is it the multi-billion-dollar software company that holds the digital keys to your table? Think about that next time you tap Confirm Reservation.
It completely reframes the relationship between the diner, the restaurant, and the technology connecting them.
It really does. Thank you so much for joining us on the Steam Dive. We'll see you next time.